Scalia's mysterious death and his politically correct replacement. Scalia's mysterious death and his politically correct replacement. Thank you for tuning in to the Black Political Buzz Network, and my name is Laurel. On today's vlog, I would like to discuss the recent premature death of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, who was found dead at a resort Saturday in Texas. So on Saturday, February 13th, 2016, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia was found dead at a resort in Texas. Now, Justice Scalia had 9 children. He had 9 children who state that their father was in good spirits and in good health. Yes, he was 79 years old, 79 years of age. He was 79 years of age, which in the 21st century America, 79 years of age is not old. That's not old in today's society. Maybe 100 years ago, that was considered old, but not today. And Justice Scalia, by him being a U.S. Supreme Court Justice, we all know that he had the best of health care. He had the top of the line, cream de la cream health care. So for him to drop dead or be found dead, that is mysterious. Now, the mainstream media is reporting that he died of natural causes. At first, they said he was found dead. He just dropped dead. And then all of a sudden, the mainstream media started reporting that he died of natural causes. How do they know that? The man's body is not even cold yet. Not even cold. I mean, before his body was cold good, the mainstream media was stating that Justice Scalia died of natural causes. There was no autopsy performed at that point. No toxicology test done on his body at that point. He had just died. He was still warm. Not even on a slab yet. So how does the mainstream media know that he died of natural causes? Because the President Obama's administration told them to say that. We all know that the mainstream media reports what President Obama tells them to report. It's propaganda. Propaganda. We don't know why that man died. His children and family said he was in good health and he was in good spirits. I believe that he was in good health. There were no reports of him being sick. And 79 years of age is not old. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Ginsburg, she's older than 79 years of age. And she's had cancer, and she's older than Justice Scalia. And she's still alive. So 79 is not old. And for a U.S. Supreme Court Justice to just drop dead all of a sudden, that is mysterious. Now, we know that Justice Scalia was the conservative voice on the U.S. Supreme Court. He had a reputation for being very conservative in his decisions. He was very, very supportive of the U.S. Constitution. He really believed in the principles and the amendments and the articles and the law that the U.S. Constitution stands for, which is our highest form of law in this country. He really, really believed in the tenets of the U.S. Constitution. He was a very conservative justice. He didn't believe in rewriting the law. He believed in enforcing the law that as it was written in the U.S. Constitution. He was a very well-loved man, loved by many. He was even loved by many liberals. Although liberals and conservatives, they disagree, in their ideology, they still loved this conservative justice, Antonin Scalia. So he'll be missed by many. Well, no sooner had his death been announced in the mainstream media, then we have the political battle over his replacement. Who will President Obama, our current sitting president, nominate to replace Justice Scalia? Now, Saturday evening, during the GOP debate, or right before the GOP debate was to take place in Greenville, South Carolina, President Obama announced that he would appoint or would nominate a replacement to complete the balance of the court. Because right now, with Justice Scalia's death, that leaves a void. Because now you have 4 conservative judges and 4 liberals. So there are 9 justices on the U.S. Supreme Court. With Justice Scalia being deceased, that leaves the court unbalanced. Because there has to be someone whose opinion will balance the court out. And when he was alive, Justice Scalia was that balance. Because Chief Justice John Roberts, he rules more liberal than he does conservative. I repeat, even though Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, Chief Justice John Roberts, who was nominated by George W. Bush, even though Chief Justice John Roberts, is a Republican, and he was nominated by a president who is a Republican, he rules more liberal than he does conservative. So now the question is, who is on President Obama's short list to replace Scalia? Who is President Obama going to select or nominate to replace Justice Scalia? Let's just say that whomever he chooses will be either a liberal or a progressive nominee. Whomever President Barack Obama chooses to replace Justice Scalia will either be a liberal or a progressive. And in choosing a nominee to replace Justice Scalia, this will complete President Obama's presidential legacy. Now, President Obama has already nominated Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan. So President Obama has already nominated 2 justices on the U.S. Supreme Court who were confirmed by the U.S. Senate, Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor. So in him nominating a 3rd justice, that will complete his presidential legacy. So Elena Kagan was a white woman. Many say she's Jewish, but she's still white to me. Then you have Sonia Sotomayor. She's Latino. She's a Latina. So everyone's predicting now, or assuming, or presuming, President Obama is going to nominate a black woman to replace Justice Scalia. I too think that he's going to replace Justice Scalia or nominate a black woman to fill that seat. And the name on the top of everyone's lips is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is 51 years old. She's a black woman. She's the current state attorney general for the state of California. She's a native of California, from Oakland. So Kamala Harris is a native of Oakland, California, 51 years of age. The current state attorney general of California. She's a Democrat. She is a Democrat, and she's an ardent supporter of Obama. Kamala Harris is a ardent supporter of President Obama and the Clintons, more so the Obamas. She's very progressive and liberal in her views, and she's on President Obama's short list. So many people believe she will be the nominee to replace Justice Scalia. And she is a politically correct nominee. For President Obama to nominate Kamala Harris, that will be a politically correct nomination for the U.S. Supreme Court. Just as Elena Kagan was, just as Sonia Sotomayor was. Kamala Harris is a woman. She's a supporter of Obama's agenda and Hillary's agenda. She's black. She's an alumni of Howard University. She's not 16. She's not 25. She's 51, which means that she represents a large majority of women voters in the United States, because most women voters in the USA are, older than age 25 and older than age 30. So she will represent a very popular voting bloc in the United States of women voters. She has an excellent reputation in the legal community. She's an excellent lawyer, and to my understanding, from what I've read about her background, she's an excellent state attorney general, loves the law, very professional, very professional. So she will be and very progressive and very liberal in her views and her ideology. So Kamala Harris will be a politically correct appointee or a nominee. Just as Antonin Scalia was very conservative, President Obama's nominee to replace him will be very progressive and very liberal. This will complete Barack Obama's presidential legacy if she's confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Sandra Bland died in 2015. She was found dead in a jail cell. Sandra Bland was a black woman from Chicago, a young black woman from Chicago who was found dead in a jail cell in Texas in 2015. In 2016, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia was found dead at a resort in Texas. Both deaths are mysterious. Who will President Obama nominate to replace Justice Scalia? I predict, or I presume, it will be Kamala Harris, a politically correct nominee. Thank you for tuning in to Laurel at Black Political Buzz. And goodbye.